Europe could not exist and attain the level of development it did without plundering the resources of Africa, both natural and human.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel once again. This is Brian Reaction. Now if you're coming across my videos for the first time, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like and share. To my returning viewers and subscribers, thank you so much for watching my videos and sharing my videos. Now in today's clip, the former Jamaica PM has revealed something about USA that will shock you. Now I have a combination of videos here from the former Jamaica PM and this YouTuber called Bolsen. They have revealed something about USA that will shock you. Now I want us to dive into this video and I'll be back with a few reactions.
Well, they know that. The West knows that. They're acutely aware of their actual total dependence upon Africa. If Africa manufactured, if they used their own resources, their own minerals, their own materials for their own industries, well, the entire economy of the West would collapse. And with the collapse of their economy, their whole so-called civilization would collapse. Africa is the foundation upon which they built their house. So they know this. And like I said, this is why no matter what else changes in the world, no matter how power dynamics shift in the world, the subjugation of Africa has been maintained for over 800 years. There's literally nothing more important to them than this. They tell you that if you nationalize, then there will be massive capital flight, investors will run away and so on. Well, think about that for a second. They're trying to scare you with consequences that they themselves will be imposing. They're warning you that if you do something that is in your country's best interest, they will punish you. This is very different from telling you that the policy in and of itself is actually bad. They're telling you that they will make it a bad policy because of what they will do to you if you implement it. You understand? These people are threatening you, and then you're supposed to trust their advice? The advice of these neoliberal predators? You're supposed to listen to them and trust their advice when they are blatantly telling you that they will punish you if you do something to try to make things better, to try to change things? I mean, they couldn't make it more obvious, their malice. They couldn't make their malice more obvious. They couldn't make it any more obvious how against your best interests they are. How much they put their own private interests above the interests of their country. They're openly identifying themselves to you as your enemy. Do you understand me? I mean, they're not saying that nationalization doesn't work. They're not saying that it isn't beneficial. They're saying that they will do everything in their power to make sure it doesn't work. They're saying that they will sabotage nationalization for their own sake, for the sake of their own profit interests. And still you let this type of people have a say in policy discourse? Well, that's humiliating. They hold you in contempt and they don't even hide it. I mean, for instance, the nationalization of key sectors, such as mining, such as energy and finance. This is essential to try to break the stranglehold of foreign capital on your country and to ensure that the country's resources are actually used for the benefit of the people and for the benefit of the domestic economy. The countries in the global south, in fact, they're in a position today to actually dictate the terms now. If Westerners want to pull out their capital, so say you nationalize. Okay, if Westerners want to pull out their capital, they want to withdraw their investments. Okay, go ahead. Dig around in your own lands for the minerals you need to make your stuff. And good luck to you. And all the global south countries, it's time for them to break away from this paradigm. Break away from Western domination and start implementing all of those policies that they know perfectly well will benefit them, whether America likes it or not. I mean, can you imagine if the Gulf countries didn't put their oil sector under government control? Where would they be now? But look at where they are now. Look at the amount of capital they have now. No, this millennium-long system of subjugation needs to come to an end. And it really doesn't matter if the road to liberation is a little bit rocky. I'd rather be traversing a rocky road than be buried under the rubble, which is where the West has kept Africa for centuries. This is the richest and most important continent on the planet. And the West stole your riches and they stole your importance, and they've been an imposter on the throne for far too long. It doesn't make any sense to be afraid of someone whose power is actually dependent upon you. That's a psychological power, not an actual power. They have a psychological power over you. But every element of their real power is completely derived from you yourselves. It's like your hand is on the tap that the hose is attached to that they use to waterboard you. And all you have to do is turn it off.
Here are 4 strategic African countries that the United States and its allies in the West has captured to keep a hold of Africa and keep Africa enslaved. Number 1, Nigeria. Yes, if you control Nigeria, you control the whole of West Africa. Nigeria, of course, they've got a good network of roads from Nigeria to other West African countries. They've got air transport well linked to all the cities in West Africa. And Nigeria militarily is the biggest. You know, Americans have made Nigeria the biggest military deliberately so that they can easily control West Africa, intimidate other countries. That's how they've kept control. And recently, they pampered the Nigerian economy artificially to become Africa's biggest, when it's not true. You cannot have Africa's biggest economy with 13 million people threatened by hunger in 2024. It doesn't happen. You can't hear of hunger in South Africa. I mean, Gauteng alone in South Africa is the biggest economy. You can't compare with any country, but it's just a district in South Africa. So it's not true that Nigeria is the biggest economy. Americans twerk. They brought down the South African economy. Remember what they did with the banks, conniving with the banks to bring down the rand and all that, so that they should lose track when it comes to Standard and Poor credit rating? Yeah, that's America trying to pamper Nigeria. And why did they pamper Nigeria like that? They were trying to hit back at South Africa for joining the BRICS. Yeah, you get it? So, control Nigeria, you control West Africa. And you know, when they pamper these people, they pamper them socially as well. Nigerians feel like they're top dogs in West Africa, you know, and you know, you cannot talk to a Nigerian about Pan-Africanism. Have you heard a Nigerian talking about Pan-Africanism? If there is, very few. But they don't talk Pan-Africanism. You know, they feel like they're top dogs, America is with them and all that. You know, they pamper them socially, deliberately, so that they should have no feelings for any other West African country when it's suffering under the boot of the United States and its allies. And, you know Nigerians with Israel. You know, Israel is their heaven, their promised land. You know, you cannot talk to a Nigerian about genocide in Israel. You know, you can't, because they did a good job of brainwashing Nigerians in that area. Let's not even go there. Country number 2, Egypt. Yes, control Egypt, you control North Africa. All the countries, Libya, Algeria, Tunisia, Sudan, Ethiopia, they are under Egypt. Egypt is superior militarily, economically, and Egypt is well linked by road, by rail, by air transport, you know, very well linked in North Africa. And as usual, the Americans have pampered the Egyptians to feel that they are most important people in North Africa. So when they hear that this such country, like they did to Libya, devastating that country, the Egyptians were just, oh, well, it's none of our business. We're good with the United States, you know. So they have pampered them economically, socially, so that they should have no feelings for any other. Like they're eating on the same table, but they're not really. They're just another African country that they're exploiting, you know. And that's how the United States plays this game. So you control Egypt, you control North Africa. Third country that the United States and its allies strategically controls on the African continent is Kenya. Kenya is well placed strategically. The rails and road networks from Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, all of them connect to Kenya. And they did that deliberately because they want to get a good grip on East Africa. The United States deliberately made the Kenyan army the strongest army. And that's for a reason. They're sending them into Haiti to keep the peace in Haiti. But in actual fact, they're doing the dirty work for the United States in Haiti. They're doing that in Somalia already. They sent their troops in Somalia on the orders of the United States to keep the peace in Somalia. But they're doing the dirty work there. They're simply trying to make sure that all East African countries are kept in check and the United States keeps its control over the eastern part of Africa. Yes, talk to a Kenyan about Pan-Africanism. How many Kenyans have spoken Pan-Africanism? One guy, Patrice Lumumba, I give it up to him. I give it up to you, sir. But he's a lone star. Kenyans don't share the same sentiments with Patrice Lumumba when it comes to Pan-Africanism. He's like a desert flower, rose. I don't know what they call those flowers that you just find in the desert, just there, alone in the middle of nowhere. That's Patrice Lumumba. Kenyans have been socially pampered by the Americans to feel superior to everybody in East Africa. There's a reason for that. That's what Americans do best. They pamper you so that you feel nothing for the others who are suffering. Just look at what they've done with our African leaders. They are so rich, they are billionaires, but they are running the poorest countries on earth, and they feel no remorse. Fourth country that the United States and its allies in the West control is South Africa. Yes, if you control South Africa, you control the whole of Southern Africa. South Africa has got a good road network into Africa, rail, air, and if you control the South African economy, you control the whole of Southern African economy. And the United States was very scared when they saw that, oh, these guys, they've gone to BRICS. Oh, these guys have kicked Israel out. But Ramaphosa is paying a big price for that because they are coming hard on him. They want a regime change. In this 2024 election, the ANC has lost its majority in parliament. They've divided the South Africans so good. As usual, the Americans, they have pampered the South Africans to make them feel like they're the most special guys in Southern Africa, and they won't care a thing about Pan-Africanism because the Americans do it best. They'll pamper you to make you feel important and part of them. And South Africans are light-skinned. Maybe they feel like they're closer to the white skin. Maybe. Because they voted for a white party, DA. The party that says in its manifesto that they'll never give the land back to the black people. That's the party that South Africans have voted for to keep it in second place and very, very close to power. But the party that speaks Pan-Africanism like the EFF, they've kicked it so far down to fourth place. And very, very soon, the DA might start ruling South Africa, slow by slow. America wants South Africa back, and they want to punish Ramaphosa. And Americans are sending a message that if you stand against America and Israel, you're going to pay the price. And this is the message they're sending to Ramaphosa right now. So the Americans are fighting to get South Africa back. This is exactly what is happening. America has gotten hold of the whole of Africa using 4 countries: Nigeria, Egypt, Kenya, and South Africa.
Welcome back, guys. I hope you have watched the full clip. Now, this is very, very true. Now, Africa is very, very rich, but people always ask this question: why is it that Africans are always poor? We are always poor, but we are very rich in natural resources, like very, very rich, but we are the poorest. Now, these are some of the reasons as to why these situations are like this. We all know it's because of our leaders. Now, our leaders have failed us in so many categories that, it's even hard to explain. Now, they are allowing foreign investors to come to our lands, invest in our natural resources, and they are the only ones benefiting, and those investors, and we remain with nothing. Now, these things have been happening, and that's why our leaders are always not ready to speak when it comes to situations like this, because they know they are the ones who are cooperating with these investors. They are the ones who are allowing them to come here. They are getting money from these people, and that's why Africa will always be poor because of such reasons. Now, for instance, look at what's happening to a country like Jamaica. The PM has allowed the Chinese to overflow in that country. The Chinese are so many in that country. They are building businesses, they are taking everything, and my Jamaican brothers and sisters are remaining with nothing. Look at situations like that. We are the ones who are allowing these people to come close, and we all know when they come close, they are very good at taking everything. They are very, very good. They know we are stupid, we are poor, we have no idea, but they know how to utilize our resources, and that's why they always have these targets to come. Now, look at how Chinese have built businesses in Jamaica. Most of the businesses in Jamaica are owned by them. They are getting support from the government, which is very, very disappointing. So, Jamaican people cannot even operate businesses because they need a lot to start a business. But the government is supporting foreigners in their land to build businesses. The businesses are prospering. Now Jamaicans are only forced, to work for them. Look at such cases. These are things that should stop. Now look at how this guy changed his country, Ibrahim Traore. Ibrahim Traore changed Burkina Faso. And one thing about Ibrahim Traore is that he has made sure that these people don't get close to him. They will never ever try to get close to him. They tried to assassinate him, but they did not manage. Ibrahim Traore has been the best. He has been giving these people sleepless nights because we all know Burkina Faso, they are rich in gold, they are rich in natural resources. But at this point, these people cannot be able to exploit the natural resources of Burkina Faso. I wish all African countries, all Caribbean countries could follow this lead. Imagine how life could be. I don't believe there's somebody who will leave Burkina Faso to go maybe to USA, UK to go find a job. I don't believe there are such cases in Burkina Faso because the president of Burkina Faso has made sure that every natural resources is being utilized by his people. The gold, the everything. He has provided jobs. He has provided everything for his people. So his people are very, very happy to an extent that they don't need anything because they have everything at home. And that's why Burkina Faso is flowing smoothly, growing economically because of all this. So we have all the resources that we need to be rich. We have everything that is needed for us to be rich, but it's very sad because our leaders are not able to support us. Now, I remember Ibrahim Traore bought, he bought, machines to facilitate, this farming process in Burkina Faso. Now, he realized that his people are good farmers, but they lack the appropriate machines to facilitate their work. So he decided to bring in very many machines. There were so many to make sure that agricultural sector is flowing, it's growing. And look at how agricultural sector is in Burkina Faso. It is the best. Those are some of the things that our leaders should be doing to help us exploit what we have, but they are not supporting us. And that's why with these investors, they know that we lack, the machineries, we lack the ways to utilize our resources. And that's why they are coming in, trying to talk to our leaders, giving our leaders money, silencing our leaders, and they exploit everything. But they know well that we are the richest, and they know well that they cannot do without us. They cannot do without us. That's why you are seeing that they are always hitting on our leaders, always try to come, they are always to try to come in, to negotiate with our leaders and try to utilize our resources. But if our leaders could, stop these issues, find better solutions, bring in better equipments for us to exploit our resources, for us to, to make sure that everything remains at home, things would be better. We would be on way another level. So big up once again to Bolsen for that strong message. That is very, very true. We are very rich in natural resources, but we are, let me use this word, we are very stupid because we cannot be able to profit from this. We are not able to profit from this. Again, this is happening because our leaders are not doing anything about this. They prefer outsiders to come and exploit our resources and us remain with nothing. Look at how, people from Jamaica, people from Africa are struggling to find jobs in the US, in the UK. These things have been happening. People are struggling, people are selling their lands, selling their houses just to be in that plane to the USA to go and find greener pastures because they have nothing to do here in Africa. Now, They have nothing to do in Jamaica. Now look at such situations. They always make me very, very sad when we have everything here at home. The problem is that we're not getting the support from the leaders we selected, from the leaders we voted for. So if we could, utilize these things, if we could stop these people, if we could unite, then we could be going very, very far. We could be just like how Burkina Faso is right now. So I don't know what you guys have to say about Bolsen's message and the former PM. In the comment section, you can tell me anything and I'll gladly read all your comments and reply them. So thank you for watching this video, guys. Until my next video, peace out.